Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in, welcome in. This is your weekend sales update. 22 sales this past Memorial Day weekend. Cheating a little bit, of course, because Monday included in with the weekend sales. Everything getting shipped out tomorrow, which is Tuesday for me. 22 sales. We had 9 on eBay. Only 9. 4 on Depop. Side note about Depop, as I adjust my camera. Side note about Depop, in the last 6 weeks now that I've been using the cross-list platform, I had only had 1 sale on Depop. Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera. I should have done this beforehand. There we go. I want to sit comfortably. So only 1 sale on Depop the past 6 weeks. However, 4 in 1 weekend's pretty good. 3 sales on Vinted. Side note about Vinted, I am once again in Vinted jail. They're very strict over there on Vinted, although I love selling over there. No fees for the seller. But, you know, I had talked about scrubs. I've gotten 2 strikes on scrubs because they're deemed medical equipment. And I have gotten 3 strikes and a 3-day suspension with Pocketknives. Remember, they blast all at once, so I couldn't stop the listing process, so I got 3 strikes. However, I should have read the fine print when it comes to the rules about Pocketknives and sharp objects, because I listed a pair of sewing shears over there on Vinted, and since I had been warned and suspended in the past, I received a 5-day suspension on Vinted, which is a massive bummer because the sales really do slow down when you're not actively listing over there on Vinted. So there's a side note about Vinted. No more side notes. 2 sales on Poshmark, 2 sales on Marketplace, 1 sale on Mercari, and 1 sale on Whatnot. That equals 22, folks. Let's dive right in. We got a nice variety of sales to talk about. First up, eBay on Friday. These right here, a pair of women's American Eagle. These are size 12 regular jeggings. Nothing terribly special. I got these for $2 and they at a garage sale, and they sold for $11. Next up, this is an interesting piece right here, this Goody hair clip. I actually got this, surprisingly, at the toy store estate sale. I got a box full of vintage hair products for $5. I sold 2 brushes already for $30, so well into the profit on that said box and the toy store buy at a whole. Most of the box, I still have 1 more brush. Most of the box was hair things. I don't know. They haven't sold it all. But there's 1 of these. There's actually more, but I threw the other ones away because these are very delicate and they were crushed. So I have to be very careful in packaging this. Can't just throw this one in a poly mailer, even though it looks like I could. That is extremely fragile. So I got it, or it sold for $11 on eBay, going to Fort Wayne, Indiana. That old Goody hair foundation. Look at that lady. Look at her hair. It's the poof. It's the Snooky poof a little bit there. And our final eBay sale of Friday, got this from a good friend and neighbor. Kevin Harvick diecast car sold for $5 over there on eBay, and it was headed to Irma, South Carolina, but the next day they canceled. So it's why I said 22 sales. There were 22 sales, but really only 21 because this guy canceled. So if you want a Kevin Harvick diecast Happy Harvick NASCAR 164 scale car from 2004-5 for $5, go ahead and hit up my eBay. Then we had 1 sale on Poshmark. And there is a bag of 7 of these. I'll show you one. They are from 1998. These are Mary Kay pins, lapel pins, hat pins, lapel pins, little mini pins. There are 7 of them. They sold for $21 over there on Poshmark. I got these from Poker Dude, shout out Poker Dude over there on Dibdit. I got those for $2 and they sold for $21 over on Poshmark. Sidebar about Dibdit, I guess. I did make the decision to stop cross-listing all my buy it now or static listings over to Dibdit on District and Dibdit cards, just because it was taking a little bit too much time. I've already on 7 other platforms and sales are going well, and I was getting between 1 and 4 sales buy it now on Dibdit, and I did it because the fees were low and I just love the platform so much. However, I am still a seller on Dibdit and a seller on 8 platforms, but only on live auctions once a month. And the upcoming one is Thursday, May 28th, 8 p.m. Central Time on dibdit.com for Ladies Threads Night. We're going to have women's clothing. We're going to have handbags and hats and scarves and shoes. It's going to be a great night, so make sure to tune in and have some fun with me on Thursday. Next, our only vintage sale of Friday was this Pokemon backpack. It has some wear and it's modern. Not a big win at all. I got it for $2 and I sold it quick. An overnight sale actually for $5 over there on Vinted. Hey, at least there's no fees and I'm getting a big piece out quickly. And that was it for Friday. So we're going to Blue Skidoo weekend 2 right into Saturday, our slowest day of the weekend. Only 2 sales on Saturday, both on eBay. First up, a Godzilla Biter Writer pen. You've seen these before if you've been watching my shows. I got a box full of, I believe there were 25 maybe? 25, I think, of these. And, I don't know, 10 to 15 of the off-brand dinosaurs. Those are almost gone. And we're moving through these now. I think I only have 7 left after this weekend because I sold this single one for $15 going to Ontario, Canada. Hey, very nice. So yeah, that box is well done and paid for as well, thanks to those Godzilla pens. And our last sale on Saturday, also in the form of eBay, from the baseball collection buyout. Boy, oh boy, has that slowed down. I know if you followed me starting in January when I started this venture, almost all my content was baseball related, and now very little so. This is a bundle. Look at all these cards. These are all Barry Larkin cards. The whole bundle sold for $7 going to Fairborn, Ohio. Of course, the baseball collection, well done and paid for. Still have some balls, still have some cards. We'll be going through that for a while. And then we move on to Sunday. Jeepers Creepers, have mercy. We had 10 sales on Sunday. Wowzer, was it a busy day. First up, 10 sales on Sunday, and only one of which was on eBay, and that was this right here. Nike Chicago Cubs. This only sold for $6, and it's going to Littleton, Colorado. I don't really purchase modern pre-owned fan shop clothing that often, but this was a fill a bag for $5 sale, and I filled that bag very much so, and they were happy that I did so. They were ready to get rid of some stuff. So that was one of the pieces. So that's the bag's paid for there, and that was one of the lesser items in that bag. Yeah, that wraps it up for eBay. Now, the next 2 sales I can't show you, but I will have both of them in the thumbnail. And I can't show you because they're gone, because they sold on Facebook Marketplace. The first of which was a Vera Bradley diaper bag. My wife found this at a citywide garage sale recently for $5, and it sold on Facebook Marketplace for $25 rather quickly. She did the transaction for that just because she happened to be outside when they showed up. Thank you very much. And then we have a pair of Super Bowl towels. Those will also be in the thumbnail. They were LIV. What is that? 54? 54, I think. Super Bowl 54 towels. 2 of them, they were new with tags, nothing special. They sold for $10 on Marketplace. I paid $5 for them, so not a good flip at all. However, I got a bunch of towels. I paid $2.50 a piece for 12 towels. And 9 of the 12 were Jets towels, which are a little bit better than the Super Bowl ones from 6 years ago or whatever it was. But still, so then that's it for Marketplace. So now I can actually show you what we're selling here. And I got a large donation back in January that I'm still filtering through from a good friend, Lori. Shout out, Lori. There was a lot of variety of items, VHS being one of them, so I sorted through them. I picked out, I think there were somewhere between 5 and 10 VHS that were worth listing on their own, that were at least worth $4 to $5. The other ones, the ones that were worth between like $1 to $2, I just put in a big bundle together and got rid of them cheap to just get them out. They sold for $4 over there on Mercari, this big old stack of VHS. Some nice movies in there. Silence of the Lambs, Terminator, even though I've never seen it. I have seen Batman and Robin. Shawshank Redemption, classic. Zorro, never seen it. Heat, I've seen. But I think they were too common, and there's too many of them out there that none of those individually are really worth anything. Then we have one of my wife's scrub tops. This is a Med Couture women's size small touch fit black scrubs top. That sold for $7 over there on Poshmark. Hey, it's better than going in the donation bin. Then we have a couple of pocket knives. I paid $2 a piece for a bunch of pocket knives on a live auction, and they're not really worth much. There's an Elks Ridge one that's pretty good, but the other ones are worth not much. So these sold, I accepted offer for $6 a piece for these two pocket knives. These are by AI Blades. They are nothing spectacular. And an unfortunate naming of a business that actually named their business AI Blades before artificial intelligence really started taking over these last few years. Then we have one of my wife's bras. Sold for a few bucks over there on, where did it sell? Depop. And the knives sold on Depop as well. Those were the Depop sales starting to come through. Sold for a few bucks, again, better than the donation bin. Then we have a Coolpix camera. This one has some wear. It is tested working, but it has some wear, and it's definitely not one of the nicer models. It came in a case, a Nikon case, but it's not original to this camera. And it came with manuals, also not for this camera. But, quick $25. My wife got that on an estate sale that she went picking for me because I wanted to sleep in. And I don't remember how much she paid for it, so I'll have to check my notes. Same with the next piece. She also got this at that same estate sale. That sold on Vinted, $25 on Vinted, going to Kahului, Hawaii. Absolutely. Then we have a Garmin GPS. She picked this up. I don't think she paid very much, $1.50. Oh, I do have it written down. $4 for the camera, turned to $25, and she paid $1.50 for the Garmin GPS. Also sold on Vinted. That's going to Washington, D.C. It sold for $8. So it's not new. I'm sorry. New GPSs can do a little bit better, but GPSs just really aren't worth flipping that much. But you know what? For $1.50, I probably would have picked it up too. And that's it for Sunday. Then we slide right into now Monday. Monday, 5 sales on Monday to round out the weekend. First up, a VHS. From Lori as well. This is the ones that I picked out. I did have it listed for 5. I accepted an offer for 3 just to... I'm easy. Just let's get stuff gone. I didn't pay for it. Over on eBay, going to Portland, Oregon. And then we have more Godzilla pens. These ones sold as a pair for $22 going to Columbus, Ohio. Same thing. I don't know if I really talked about them last time I showed them, though. I still have 7. They are very cool. They are teal colored. The top comes off. They are still on the card. Official Godzilla branded from 1998 by Equity Toys. The packaging does have some wear. These ones are pretty good. They're fully on the card, no issues. I do know Nebraska reseller purchased a few, and one of them he opened and it didn't work. So, what can you do? They're 28 years old. They're pens. He wasn't complaining. He was just I watched this video. Follow Nebraska reseller. Very funny guy. Next up, we have last eBay sale of the weekend and the longest listed item of the weekend. I thought that was a rip. That's just his belly. And it is surprisingly so. This one, I think, this is from 1995. Plush Creations is the brand. I got it for $0.25, and I picked this up because there was one plush that I wanted, and all the plush was $0.25, and I didn't have quarters. So I just, rather than having to deal with quarters, picked up 3 more plush for $0.25. And this was one of them. And this sold for $10. Longest listed item of the weekend. 11 months this beautiful squirrel was listed. There are no flaws with him. He is absolutely stunning. And he's sturdy as well. Going to South Haven, Michigan is this little guy. Then we had our one and only Whatnot sale of the weekend. In a little Vera Bradley bag. It has some wear. I got a bunch of Vera, if you remember me talking about it. They were all between 50 cents and $1, so I was just grabbing and not really looking them over. And I still think I would have got them all at that price. This one did have some wear. This one had the most wear out of all of them, and it's not even that much. It just has some discoloration on the bottom trim. Not a terribly desired pattern, though. This is a pink pixie confetti pattern Vera Bradley handbag. Sold for $7 over there on Whatnot. going to North Windham, Connecticut. All those little sales add up, folks, especially when they're easy shippers like that. And last but not least, a little raid on Gobble Bowl. Another donation, this one from a good friend Rachel. Shout out Rachel for the Raiden collection that she donated. This sold for $5 over on Depop. So a nice variety of items, clothing and VHS and Godzilla pens, electronics. Favorite sale? I don't know. It's nice to get the Godzilla pens moving. I mean, there's another $37 in Godzilla pens, which is always fun. The goodie thing is interesting. That's not something I often sell. But I'm going to take the squirrel for my favorite, just because it's going to be, actually might not be my favorite, because it's going to be a little sad to see him go. He's been sitting up there on my plush shelf for 11 months, overseeing and making sure things are getting done. He's watched a lot of live auctions over there. So we're going to take him. We're going to call him, Thumper's too generic, and he's not Disney. We're going to call him Dante. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.